Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. Yo, listen up, we back in the game. Sweep the league, we got the flame. Motivated to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get it in every way. Working the two in the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweep the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that. STL Music, look what we did, where we at. Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Every girl, Purple rock stats, we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, RAYNE Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
2, 1.
Well, as you guys can tell, Derek Gervin doesn't miss anything. If you don't want to miss anything as well, go to YouTube. Search at Sweep the League TV. Be a subscriber today. We're giving away a bunch of prizes and stuff. Be a subscriber today so you don't miss, just like Derek never misses. Subscribe to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
Sweep the league TV where legends collide. If the Cowboys fall short, we'll still ride the tide. Like Jordan in the clutch or Brady's last play, we bring the fire, keeping fans in the fray. Coach Gio and Marie calling the shots, with Derek Gervin straight Hall of Fame thoughts. So hit that subscribe, don't sit on the bench. Get in the game, every highlight's intense. The live stream's on till your friends don't delay. Like Kobe in the fourth, we're here to play. Sweep the League TV, where greatness resides. From the blogs at the drive, till my heart's on the rise. We're all in on sports, NBA, CFB, and more for fans. By fans, it's the show you'll adore.
Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Taco Tuesday. It's Rudy Campos Jr. Going to be joined by Derek Gervin here in just a little bit. Welcome back, man. We are off on Mondays most of the time. So, again, that's a one day off that we are off. But we're going to be coming to you pretty much every single day, Tuesday through Friday when it comes to Sweep the League. Some Mondays will be available. But for the near future, Mondays are going to probably be the only night that we will be off. We've got a lot to get into. College football playoffs, that came into effect this past weekend. We got the matchups. We got the bracket that we're going to break down here in just a little bit. Also, Bill Belichick in the coaching ranks sort of right now for the UNC Tar Heels, this team right here. We'll see. We'll talk a little bit about that when it comes to Bill Belichick and see how that'll work out. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are kind of skeptical about it when it comes to Bill Belichick being a collegiate coach. In some ways, it'll work. But I think in most ways it won't work. So we're going to talk about that, plus a whole lot of other stuff, man. Are the Eagles collapsing after what A.J. Brown said? We told y'all at the beginning of the season, before the season even started, Coach Gio, Derek, myself, we brought it up to you guys. It's coming full circle now. We just got a whole bunch to get into. Appreciate everybody joining us here for Sweep the League. Leha's in here. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, Chris Leha. It is Tacos Tuesday. What's good, brothers? How's everyone doing? Everybody's doing good, man. We're going to bring Derek on right now. So be sure to join us. Appreciate it, Leha. Get MCS, man. Hopefully, you're making the right call, and it's the only call to MCS General Contracting. Contact Chris Leha and the boys. They're going to take care of you right away. Every time, all the time, the first time. No mistakes, 100% backed by Sweep the League. And the Blue Devils, you made a comment earlier, Tim, about Blue Devils and the incarnate word. you can't get happy about a victory over Incarnate Word, man. It's a pretty inferior team right there right now when it comes to D1 schools. Let's get it. That's definitely Jacob Eric. What is up, Chuck Vans? We got the Chuck Van show. Me and Chuck did a show. We're going to do another one here. I'm going to get in contact with Chuck. We got to do another show. That Rock and Roll show was awesome. And we barely scratched surface on Rock and Roll. Shout out to Chuck Vans. Transfer portal's out of control. Malik Murphy is in the transfer portal. Yes, he is. And Chuck Vans, go Ducks. He's going for Oregon. We're going to get into some college football playoff talk right now. That's going to be the first thing we're going to get into. But before we do, we got to bring him on. The man, the myth, the Hall of Famer himself, Mr. Derek Irvin, sporting the Sweep the League shirt. What is up, Derek?
How you doing there, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. First, I want to say hello to everybody. Happy holidays. And then I got to quickly go into Tim. I know you love the Duke Blue Devils, and I guess you were a little nervous at halftime, 28-21 over Incarnate Word, but in the second half, your team came to play. So I want to just give a shout out to Duke, and I also want to give a shout out to UIW because that was a big game. Even though they lost, to even have Duke on your schedule is nothing but a step forward.
Yeah, it was, I get it. Tim had made the comment that it was going to be a blowout and everything like that, which kind of expected. But at halftime, I tweeted to, well, it's actually, I don't know what you call it on X anymore, but on X, I posted the halftime score. And I said, yeah, it's not much of a blowout right there. But of course, that was just the first half, man. Definitely just the first half on that. But well, yeah, shout out to the Blue Devils, man. I mean, it's going to be a fun season. And what's funny is that Cooper Flagg was all the talk, but guys, I've been telling you, Cooper Flagg is my third best prospect, and now people are starting to notice Dylan Harper is pretty much running away with it. The one guy that I said would be the number one pick in the upcoming NBA draft, it's Dylan Harper still by a couple of miles from me. I mean, Cooper's great, but Dylan Harper brings a whole nother dynamic that Cooper doesn't bring, and that's why I really feel that any NBA team drafting number one probably has to go with Dylan Harper, Derek.
Well, no disagreement here, and it's not to slight Cooper. I don't know. I have a question. For you. Do you think Cooper? I mean, how much better can he get? I think I'm not going to say he's maxed out, but I see a guy that's going to be a very good NBA player. But as far as the superstar and the best we've seen since I don't even like going here, but I'm gonna say it because people have put it out there. The best since Larry Bird and all of that. I don't know. I see a very good player, but I don't know if I see NBA superstar or face of the league.
I don't see face of the league when it comes to Cooper Flagg. I see multi-perennial all-star. I see all NBA type of player, but face of the league, you know me, Derek. I don't throw generational talent, that word out there, that phrase. I don't throw it out there very much. I still don't put Victor Wembanyama in the generational talent just yet. I mean, I don't. I don't really use that word a whole lot. It's very few out there that I use it with, but I don't see that with Cooper. I can really agree. I think what you see from Cooper now, you're probably at 70% of what you're going to see in the NBA. You're going to see some more. He's going to bulk up. He's going to be a big time threat, but I see perennial all-star. I don't see multiple MVP player. Maybe a one-time MVP player, but I don't see the face of the face of the league or anything like that. That's just my take on the Cooper Flagg thing.
Do you remember? I think we had this conversation before. Do you remember Matt Harpering?
Yeah, perfect example. Yeah,
I see a Matt Harpering, possibly combination Matt Harpering and hopefully a Detlef Shrimp combo maybe.
Yeah,
and if he's that, then to me he's had a very, very successful NBA career. And the young people, the people that don't know who Matt Harpering is, they can look it up. Very athletic, very good finisher around the rim, very good on the perimeter. And then you got Detlef Shrimp, who's a guy that can handle the ball, a really good passer. So if Cooper could be anywhere near those two, to me, he'll have a very successful career.
I think with Cooper, Derek, I like the Matt Harpering, obviously former Orlando Magic, great Georgia Tech player. And Detlef, I think he's going to be better than both guys, but would you possibly put him at the Laurie Markkinen type of player? Because that's kind of that's the vibes that I get right now. Probably star, all-star, better than Laurie, but I get the vibe of a Laurie Markkinen, maybe a step further than Laurie.
Different type players, and then you look at it, he's a lot bigger than Laurie. You know, so I look at it, if you look at it, Laurie has the body of a Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So if you look at Cooper's, and he's going to put on a little more weight, muscle, weight. He's going to bulk up a little more when he gets to the pros. But the reason I mentioned deadlift is because Cooper is a guy that can get up and down the floor. And I believe if you needed him to be that type passer, I think he'll be capable of that as his career goes on. And I've mentioned Matt Harpring because Matt has kind of got the same body type as Cooper. But if he can be a mixture of those guys, I think he'll be better than both. But if he could be a mixture of those two guys, I mean, that's a heck of a player.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's going to be an all-star. I see him as an all-star. You saw what he did against Team USA during the trials, when they were practicing against Team USA. He held his own, and I love what I saw from him there. But the more I looked at it, the more I saw there's better players out there in college basketball and even international, to where it made me think Cooper's not a run. He's not going to run away with the first pick. There's no way. You're seeing even Ace Bailey right now, ranking him. I'll probably go Harper, Flag, Bailey, interchange Bailey and Flag every now and then. But I mean, you got VJ Edgecombe, you've got a lot of other guys in college that are start to climb up that board. And I mean, does he drop a whole lot? I have no idea right now. I mean, you're not seeing the magnitude of what everybody expected Cooper Flag at Duke to be. So does that hurt the draft stock? I have no idea. I really don't, because there's nothing that is making me pound the table and say he's got to go number one, period. There's nothing telling me. And I don't even have the intensity of putting him at 2. And there's times where I look at it, I don't know if I have him at 3, to be honest with you.
He's the popular choice. But I know as it gets closer to the draft, hey, Dylan Harper has it in his genes, man. His dad was a really good player. I wish people could really saw Ron Harper before he got injured. You're talking about a totally different player. As great as he was with the Chicago Bulls, he was an even better player when he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think Dylan Harper, from what I've seen, is going to be one hell of a player. And we see Rutgers is already happy with the 2 guys they have. And when you look at Mr. Knuppel, is he going to take away some of Cooper's shine as the season goes on with Duke?
Yeah, I is it fair to say? And again, I'm not just saying it to say it. I'm asking this as a truthful type of question. But is Knuppel more viable in the NBA than Cooper, like his game?
Well,
I think it translates a lot better to today's game.
Well, you got guys like Dalton Connect who's playing. You got Austin Reeves. You can look at a couple of the Lakers guys.
Braun,
so Knuppel, to me, he's a guy. Yeah. Say that last name.
Brown.
Did you just mention?
Brown.
Yeah. Christian Brown. Yeah. So Christian, you got Brown, guys. Yeah. So, yeah. So I think, I think Knuppel's going to be a really good player. Then you got your big fella, your center, who was kind of working UIW over in the first half. The young fella, how old is he? Like 18?
Yeah, he's like 18 years old.
Yeah, so he was doing work on so you got a couple guys. Sometimes when you have that many really good players, it could take away some of your limelight. But we know Cooper is the popular choice. So we'll see what happens as the season progresses. He actually played pretty good, not just tonight. The game before, I think he had like 20 points, 12 rebounds. So you can see him improving, and I know he'll continue to improve. And we just have to let the season play out. But it's not going to be an easy decision when that time comes.
Yeah, it's not definitely gonna be easy. And you brought up Ron Harper, and I remember Ron with the Cleveland days, and you of all people, I mean, you of all people know how much I love those Cavalier teams from back in the day. I talk about them a lot because I mean, it's not their fault they ran into a 6'6" guard out of North Carolina from time to time that kind of spoiled the magic that those Cavalier teams had. I mean, you're talking Ron Harper, Price, Elo. Steve Kerr was even a part of that team. Larry Nance, Brad Daugherty, Hot Rod Williams. God, I mean, just that whole lineup from top to bottom was one of the best lineups in the NBA at the time. I always talk good about them. I love the Cavaliers from back in the day for sure. You
One
know,
day we have to have a conversation, Rudy. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we got to
no,
have a conversation one day about all these people that Jordan has stopped from winning championships. All these great players.
oh man, yeah. You know what? Maybe we can save that for the end of the show here. We can get to it because I mean, you're talking Jordan stopped Ewing. I mean, the Knicks teams from winning titles, the Cavaliers teams from winning titles. That stacked Phoenix Suns team with Barkley, that was another team that that was a title contending team there. Malone and Stockton. I mean, there's good God, man. If you could put a
Seattle,
Seattle, the Sean Kemp, Peyton, oh my God, you can put a dream
Nate
team.
McMillan, Deadlift Shrimp. Yeah, I'm gonna even throw in Jim McIlvain. Let people know I try to keep up with what's going on.
Oh yeah, Jim McIlvain, man. Throwing in Jim McIlvain there. Um, real, before we go to the CFP, I love what Chuck said here. They said Zion was going to be generational. Here we are, man. The moment I saw Zion Williamson, I I think I might even told you his ceiling is probably Larry Johnson, and that's probably kind of sort of what we're getting from him right now when he plays. It's right about Larry Johnson. You know,
Oh, when he play, yeah,
when he plays, yeah.
yeah.
He's no generation, and that's why I don't throw generational talent out very easily. I hey, y'all can TikTok this, y'all can, you know, what do they burn this or whatever they call it, you know, snip it or snap it. I'm saying I don't consider Victor a generational talent, not yet. I haven't considered him a generational talent, and I still can't say he is. I mean, to me, generational talent is somebody that comes in, turns a franchise
Right away.
around ASAP, and is already competing. No fault to Victor, but I mean, the Spurs were a 20-win team that year. They were a 22-win team his rookie year. They're improved a whole lot, but is that because of Victor? I mean, not necessarily. Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes has a lot to do with that. So that's why I haven't really considered him a generational talent just yet. Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr. We're talking here about NBA. Surprisingly, everybody's wondering what the hell's going on, man. We need to talk about the college football playoffs here. And this guy's on my nerves right now, man. I love Seth. He was good. He was down in fantasy football going into last night's game. I was up like 750 to like one something or two something. I don't know. His Cowboy defense miraculously blocks a punt at the end, and then he ends up beating me at the very last moment. So shout out to Sith for beating me, but your Cowboys saved your fantasy life, but they lost the game, you know, per per real life, I guess, in the real world. So, nothing to say about
Cowboys
that.
lost.
Cowboys lost, Derek. I took the Bengals.
Man, you know I'm just kidding. I know very well they lost, and how they lost. Michael Parsons pretty much had the look on his face. And if you look at that, man, I know we're gonna talk about the CFP, but I always talk about Murphy's Law, man.
Talk about it, man.
Whatever can happen will. There's certain teams that I've mentioned to you before. That's kind of like Penn State and Notre Dame of the Pro League. It's just certain teams that just find ways to lose. And when you got your owner questioning now if you should block a punt, I mean, I've never heard. I'm 61 years old, man. I've never heard that in my life. Come on, Jerry, to even put that out there now. Maybe we shouldn't block. I mean, it was insanity at its finest. So, very good game. The Cowboys stayed in the game. And then after the block punt, it just shows how momentum in all these different sports. And after the block punt, look what happens. Jamar Chase off to the races.
Yeah.
And down go the Cowboys. And down goes their season.
It's a very Cowboy way to lose, man. That's all it is. And reminded me of the Leon Lett days, block the field goal. Leon goes to try to pick it up in the snow and didn't quite get it. So what I love too, Derek, is the fact that I'm going to bring this up before we get to CFP. It deals with the NFL. Is you had the Cowboy game last night. I get on TikTok this morning and you got all these newbies out there, all these people. Well, the block punt, why did Cincinnati get the first down? And they had, if you follow the NFL, pretty much just the NFL in general, you block a punt, you try to recover, you don't recover it. And if the offensive team recovers it, it's basically a first down. I mean, the ball just doesn't change possessions. It's a loose ball. So it also reminded me of your Detroit Lions this past week, where Jared Goff stumbled, fell to the ground while handing it to David Montgomery. Montgomery got the first down. Lions win. So again, get on TikTok, get on any platform, and you have people. Jared's knee was down. It should have been done. It should have been Packers ball. Again,
it's not college.
College football. If your knee is down, you're down. In the NFL, you have to be touched.
You have to be touched. I know that. And come on.
And then I got into it too with somebody because he says, and I'm sorry to cuff. I know this is a kid show, pretty much kid friendly, but the guy says you are a bullshit liar because in the NFL, what is the whole taking a knee thing? The play's dead there. I said I understand that, but when you take a knee in victory, it's already known that you're taking a knee and the play is over. At that moment in the game, it's not victory formation. The play is continued. That's just an NFL thing.
Just look at it this way. If Saquon were to be out there running by himself and he done broke through the offensive lineman and everything, he's off to the races. No one's touching him, and he falls down on his own. Tell me why he wouldn't have a right to get up and run when no one's touched him.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not that difficult to figure out. This is not college football. This is the NFL. Yes, he slipped and he made the handoff. Yeah. Any football person that keeps up with it knows that you just continue to play. And Jared Goff did. He got the handoff, and then we won another game. But you have to know the rules before you do all that arguing.
Exactly. You got to know the rules, man. It's easy. Just go online, go to NFL.com. You can find the rule book there. Shout out to Sith, man. He says a heartbreak and that's a foul. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk about the Cowboys like that. I apologize for that. Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, they're coming to the Alamo Bowl. We're going to get into that as well. Chuck Vans is in here. Go Raiders, and Deion's going to be coaching next year. I will say this. I already have the Giants drafting Cam Ward and the Raiders drafting Shedeur. That's already my latest mock draft that's going to be coming out here. So pretty much I would say I'm 99% sure that's the way the quarterbacks are going to go in the beginning of the draft.
Shedeur. What about Shiloh? Deion told Antonio Pierce he better take both his sons.
Well, Shiloh's going to have to be a third round, fourth round.
But that's if Antonio Pierce is there. So.
Yeah, that's it. Well, maybe Deion needs to look in the mirror and say, I better take Shiloh and Shedeur because I'm going to probably be the next head coach of the Raiders. Many blessings. Yeah, many blessings to you, man. Shout out to his daughter, man. Sith just had a birthday. So happy birthday to her, man. You know, I'm hoping.
Congratulations. Happy birthday. Yes, sir. Young lady, happy birthday.
I hope you had a really good day. Follow sports Sweep the League across all platforms. Best damn sports show around. Sponsored by MCS. Hell yeah. Sponsored by MCS General Contracting, man. Appreciate the shout out, Sith. And yeah, we are the best damn sports show around. I'm not gonna deny that. I always put our show up against everybody. Cowboys should have gotten Ron Rivera as coach for no reason other than we just share the last name. And I can't lie, he's a distant relative. Hey man, Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron. Probably couldn't do any worse than what money bags Mike McCarthy's doing right now for the Cowboys. But we got to get into the talk, man. We got to get into this because I even have a one of our famous have you seen this lately type thing, but we'll get into that in a second. Let's get into the college football playoffs because it came out, and it came out strong, Derek. So as we can see, first round buys, you're getting Georgia, Boise State, Oregon, Arizona State. Those are your first round buys. I will say this: people that talk sports, few of them have a problem because some of them say, well, Alabama should be in, they're a superior team. And, when is the committee going to understand that you can't just put a Boise State team in there and give them a first round bye? Makes no sense. Let me put it this way. You knew the damn rules going into the season that 5 conference champions were going to be there. So you knew that every sports guy in America who talks sports shows, radio, whatever, you knew damn well that 5 conference champions were going to be in there. So when Boise gets in, Arizona State gets in, why are you complaining now? It's not rocket science. It's nothing. It's the damn rules. So then they say, well, SMU should not have gotten in over Alabama. The biggest BS I've heard there. SMU deserves every opportunity to be into this college football playoff. Sorry, Bama's not in, but not sorry because I'm glad the
No, don't be sorry, man. Come on.
I said sorry, but not sorry. That's what I said. Sorry, not sorry.
I'm not even sorry, but not sorry. Hell, they didn't earn it. And I'm tired of these teams getting in just because of their name. Alabama kind of went backwards near the end of the season, and they were penalized for it. If SMU would have went backwards, they would have been penalized, and everybody would have been quiet. I don't want a team in there just because they're a known team and you're going by their past history. This is one of the worst teams Alabama has had in several years, and I was glad to see the committee do the right thing as far as the top 12. We'll have to get into maybe the rankings of the top 12. I don't think that was fair, but the right teams made it.
Yeah, I agree. I really feel that everything was done right. Even the rankings of the 12, I personally feel that I'm okay with it. I love the way the bracket came out. If you had to change it, what would you change the bracket?
I love you, man, but you know what? I don't like the fact that Oregon would be playing who in the first, and if Ohio State, Tennessee, I think Oregon got shafted.
I will agree with that.
When you look at it, yeah, that's not fair, man. You got the number 1 team in the country. It's like they set Oregon up for failure. Why would they be playing the winner of Tennessee and Ohio State when you got these other teams? I thought it's like Boise State got a better draw than the number 1 team in the country. I mean, come on now, we got to do better, and it just wasn't fair. They want. It looks like they want Oregon to get knocked off quickly. Put them against Tennessee or Ohio State. To me, definitely two of the top 10 teams in the country. I think it was not just. It's unjustified.
And when I asked you about the ranking part, I really, as far as 1 through 12, I'm okay with that ranking. Now, the Oregon story that we're talking about, I will agree with you on that. They have a very tough schedule because they have to play the winner of Texas, Ohio State, and then they got to play either Clemson, Texas, or Arizona State. So that's a very tough bracket. Now, if you put Oregon where Georgia's at, that's a little bit easier, in my opinion. That bottom half of the bracket is a lot easier. So I do understand where you're going.
Yeah, they could have got the winner of the Notre Dame, Indiana. I mean, it's like you gave Georgia a better opportunity than you gave Oregon. And I thought Oregon has been the team that's been basically number 1 all season. Yeah. And to me, they've been the best team. They undefeated. And they made it as tough as they could for them. Man, that's like the Lions, securing the home field or whatever it may be. And say if the Chiefs were on their side, and then they got to play the Chiefs early in the playoffs when that could be the Super Bowl. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I can, and I completely understand that. I really do. I think Oregon should have got an easier path to the national title game, but Chuck Vance is feeling very confident in Oregon, 100% confident. He's quacking the entire way, and after what I've seen Oregon this year, and after you calling it in week -0 because you were talking so high about Oregon all year before we even started talking college football, I'm starting to see it. They are a very scary, fast team. I figured they lost a lot when they lost Troy Franklin, Bo Nix. I thought, okay, it's going to take a couple of years for Oregon. They're part of the Big Ten. It's going to take a little while for Oregon to adjust. They lost Lanning. Not they didn't lose Lanning, but I mean it's going to take a little bit of time, and no time at all. They just continued on left and right, man. Saban is smirking right now. He is. If Nick Saban is the coach of Alabama, Alabama gets in.
Yeah, but Nick, and then who's that other guy? Paul Feinbaum must be on their payroll as well.
He gets millions from Bama.
Oh man, if I hear Paul one more time try to justify why Alabama could have made it, even though they got beat 24-3 against Oklahoma, a mediocre 500 Oklahoma team, and it's all about what have you done for me lately, right?
Yeah, it really is about what you've done for me lately.
So Oklahoma Alabama didn't deserve it.
No, he did. And shout out to JD Wyatt, man. Southern Fried Sports, great podcast, great content. You got to check him out on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, search Southern Fried Sports. JD Wyatt. He's in here. Texas got a better draw than Oregon with 12th ranked and 16th ranked team. It's weird. I hate this system. I completely understand the frustration on that. Chuck Vance says Oregon's going to win anyway. I'm telling you, Chuck is very confident in that, man. He heard Saban was waiting in Deborah's office yesterday morning, joking. Yeah, that would have been crazy. Gamecocks had a better resume than Bama. It should have been SMU versus South Carolina for the last lot. We were talking so big about South Carolina, man. So big about South Carolina. I think South Carolina, I wouldn't have had any issues with them jumping into the college football playoffs. But nonetheless, Derek, the bracket's out. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to go bracket busters here. Who we got? Now, obviously, we got Clemson and Texas. Now, Texas has looked terrible against Georgia. I mean, basically, Texas has been out-coached. I'm not going to lie. They've been out-coached by Kirby Smart. Now, you and I were texting, Sarkisian, is Sark the new Ryan Day? Hey, can he win the big game? Well, so far he ain't won the big game yet, and it's kind of concerning going up against Clemson with Dabo. And I mean, Clemson hasn't been looking great all year, but it is college football playoff time, and you can always get that turn of the key, and Clemson can start revving up the engine. How do you feel about this Clemson-Texas game? Because you and I both picked Texas to win the national title, and I'm kind of scared right now going in. I would probably still take Texas because it's in Austin.
Texas?
Yeah.
If you were to ask me after the first half, if you called me after the first half against SMU and asked me, I would have clearly said Clemson. But they kind of let their foot off the gas pedal. I won't even say they let their foot off. I think that SMU came out and played fantastic in the second half. So I saw some holes in Clemson's game, and they're not the Clemson that we've been used to the last several years. I'm gonna take the Longhorns and win that game, especially because they're playing at home.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give Austin, Texas, the benefit of the doubt here. I think Texas will win against Clemson because now if it's on a neutral field, I probably would take Clemson on a neutral field. Yeah. I definitely like Texas on that matchup there. Tennessee, Ohio State, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I know JD's in here, Ohio State, Tennessee, good matchup. So I'll talk about the Notre Dame matchup. But Tennessee, Ohio State, this is a game I can't figure this game. This is going to take me a while to get this game. I know it's on December 21st. I have a little bit of time to study it. But if I'm picking right now, and I'll be honest, we're going to do this whole pick 'em thing again later before the game start because this could change a whole lot for us. But we're kind of just doing a rough draft here. If I'm picking right now, which we are right now, I'm gonna go Ohio State on this one. I think Tennessee puts up a lot of points, but I think Ohio State gets this victory in a close fought match right there.
I don't know. Is Ohio State's defensive line going to step up? That's going to be the question. If I had to pick right now, I would pick Tennessee right now. I just think they're. I think in the second half of the season they played a little more consistent than Ohio State. Ohio State's been lucky to get by several games, kind of like if you look at it, caught up to Miami, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
And it kind of caught up to Texas against Georgia. So right now, I'm going to say Tennessee. This break, I think, helps Ohio State more than it helps Tennessee. But if I was picking today, I would take the Vols.
I love this comment right here by JD because this is exactly how I feel. I'm giving him the applause. I don't like Ryan Day. I don't use the word hate a lot, but I really do not like Ryan Day at all.
Can you play? Do you have any more music back there, like the music from The Price is Right? Because if Ryan Day loses, Urban Meyer, come on down.
Man, I don't have that because we'll get copyright infringed, and I can't afford to get copyright infringed again by playing some of that music.
I did it for you.
You did it for me. That's perfect right there, man.
Urban, come on down.
He is. JD White, he's a chump. He really, I don't like Ryan Day. For anything, I don't like Ryan Day. Because I don't like him.
Did you see him? Rudy, I'm sorry, but did you see him doing the fight? Did you see him doing the fight?
Yeah, I did. I saw him during the fight.
What was he doing, man? Absolutely nothing. I mean, I don't know if the guy was shell shocked. I don't know, but I don't think he handled that situation like a coach. And I'm sure they're calling for his head right now in Ohio State. So if they were to lose that game, I would not be surprised at all. And I'm telling you, if they were going in playing this weekend, I would have Tennessee as the victor.
Yeah, I love it, man. He says he'll pay our fine if we play the Price is Right theme song. Come on down. I'm gonna have to start downloading it then. I know, until we make some money on YouTube, which hopefully is here pretty soon. That's why he's a chump. That's why he says it, man. Ryan Day. I don't like him. And you're right. I think if Tennessee wins, he gets fired. He has to get fired. There's no Jerry Jones in Ohio State. So he can't be, well, Mike McCarthy, we still believe no bullshit. Ryan Day's gone. If you lose to Tennessee, you're gone. There's no doubt about it. You can't beat Michigan, obviously. You can't beat Tennessee in the first round. You're at home at the Horseshoe. You're gone. No doubt about that. Moving on. SMU and Penn State. Cool game. I love this game. You were trying to tell me for the longest time, Penn State's for real. Penn State's good. Penn State's this. I'm the one that's always telling you, Derek, I'm waiting for that Penn State collapse. It's going to happen. It's got to happen. Still haven't seen it. I'm still waiting for it to happen. Does it happen against SMU? SMU can put points. Now, I think I want to say that right now the SMU Cinderella story probably stops here at Penn State. But I think I would take Penn State over SMU right now. I really would. Just for right now, I would take Penn State.
Wow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take Penn State. I think, I like what JD is writing right there. I like Penn State. I actually like them better than Notre Dame this year. And I think, like I told you, when I watched them play against USC, they kind of made me a believer. And I think SMU's bubble burst in this game. And right now, I would definitely take Penn State. And when we start talking later on in a few weeks, I'm sure I'm going to still be taking Penn State.
Yeah, I love SMU. I love the SMU story this year. But would you have taken SMU over Ohio State if they were ranked there?
Oh, man. I probably would have. I'm not as high on Ohio State. If you remember early in the year, I wasn't that high on them, and I wasn't high on Gio's team, Georgia. I still don't think Georgia's that good. I don't think Ohio State is that good. So, yeah, I probably would have taken them over Ohio State. SMU looked very impressive. And, Rudy, anytime you take them, and Bama's the odd man out, I know the first team out, that means that they impressed some people. And
Yeah.
I was impressed. I thought SMU played a very good game. They got off to a slow start at the beginning. I believe it was like 21-7 or something. But they came on and they played really well. And I think SMU's for real, but I think Penn State with that home field advantage once again, I think it's going to be a little over SMU's head.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Penn State right now, as we speak, I'm taking them over SMU. I think it's a little too much. I think the Cinderella story ends right there with SMU and Penn State. Penn State getting the victory.
I'm pointing because it better because you see what Tim just said,
Yeah,
and I
Franklin's
agree
in
with
the hot
Tim.
seat.
That's another coach. If he
Yeah.
loses that game, James Franklin is gone.
Yeah, I do not disagree with that. I'm actually kind of surprised that James Franklin's made it this long at Penn State.
Yeah,
I
so
really
am I.
huge surprise. JD, SMU had to make the playoffs because they're getting $0 from the ACC and almost won. Exactly. SMU's been great all season. I definitely put them above Bama. There's no doubt about that. I would put them above Bama every day of the week. I love the story. And yeah, I mean, you got 3 teams in the college football playoffs. 2 of them are conference champions. SMU not being one of the conference champions. All 3 are deserving to be there. There's no doubt about that. Indiana, Notre Dame. This is my game right here because, not because of the whole false story of Rudy Rudiger at Notre Dame, but because the team that we all overlooked, except one of our boys, Coach Gio, is bragging about Indiana all year, made us all go buy Hoosier sweaters and wear them throughout the entire season because now I still don't think that this Indiana team is going to go down without a major fight. I still have Indiana beating Notre Dame, and I don't know if I'll change. I'll change that. I think Cignetti got to Ohio State, completely understand, and like I told you before, Derek, when you're a championship contender and you're a boxer, you're gonna get hit. You're gonna get knocked down a couple of times. Ohio State knocked them out, like knocked them down. You know what? They got up, but they got knocked down 3 times. That was over. It was done. TKO. What that did was made them a little bit stronger. Why? Because everybody kind of felt, well, they're going to come against Purdue and they're going to no, they blew the socks off of Purdue the very next week, and you could see the pissed off look in their face. That's going into the CFP. I have Alabama. I have Indiana just beating Notre Dame. I don't even going to change that one.
66 points. Wow. Let me see. Can they duplicate? They won't duplicate it, 66. But the way to beat Notre Dame is to get out early. You got like boxing. I have to use the term in boxing. You got certain guys. If they don't get out and win the first 3 or 4 rounds, they're going to lose the fight. And I think Notre Dame is one of those type teams. And I think Indiana has the offense to give them trouble. And of course, there are going to be a lot of fans on both sides because you got this is a state of Indiana rivalry. If they were to play this weekend, I would be picking Indiana. I think their coach has made them believe. And I think Notre Dame is one of those teams that I talk about every year, are up and down. And I think that'll be one of their down weeks. So going right now, I would pick Indiana to win that game.
Yeah, I'm taking Indiana. Like I said, I don't know if I would change that at all. The most undeserving playoff match of all time, Indiana Notre Dame. I kind of like I said, I just think that Indiana's going to come out strong against Notre Dame. Moving to that second round, man. Texas against Arizona State. I'm not gonna lie to you. Arizona State, they're just looking. They're looking
really good.
I don't even know really good. And I'm kind of I'm undervaluing them when I say they're looking damn good. They are just looking very, 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 very unbeatable right now. I mean, I cannot wrap my head if they can beat Texas because a big part of me says that they can beat Texas. Scatterboo is the running back who I say is going to be a Dallas Cowboy. I have him being drafted by Dallas, maybe in the 3rd round by the Cowboys. So that Cowboy fans, Scotterboo is going to be your next running back. I'm calling it now. He should have been part of the Heisman talk. He should have been part of the Heisman talk. But I like, God, Derek. I'm gonna take Texas, but again, I have my opportunity to change it later. But I'm taking Texas right now, just because I have to stick to my guns and say, well, I'm taking the Longhorns.
Man, we're gonna have to have this conversation again, because the more I think about it, you might not even have to worry about Arizona State versus Texas. Texas is gonna have their hands full against Clemson. And I think when you look at it, I'm not a big Sark fan. I do not believe in Sarkisian, and I do believe in Dabo Swinney. So either way, whoever play comes out of that, I still think Arizona State is the best team out of the threesome. And you talk about impressive during the year. That's not a team. It's a team we probably had in the top 25. But to play the way they've played as the season has gone on, man, Arizona State right now is probably one of the best 4 teams in the country.
Yeah, I would say so.
And not even going by the rankings. I'm just saying, looking at the eye test.
Yeah, I would say so. I really would. And that's the reason why I said I don't know if I can comfortably take Texas. I really don't. A good thing is that we don't have
disappointing, Rudy. The last month of the season, Texas is even in their wins. And then, if you remember, I told you the first time I had problems, when I got a little nervous, is when Sarkisian went to Arch Manning in the first Georgia game.
Yeah.
And then before the game was over, he went back to yours.
Yeah.
To me, that kind of tears the locker room up somewhat, and I don't think they've recovered from that. And it's been disappointing, because I had higher expectations for Texas. I thought they would be right now. I thought a few weeks ago that Texas and Oregon were the 2 best teams in the country. But if I'm looking at it right now, hell, I might say that Oregon and Arizona State are the 2 best teams in the country.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight you on that. I'm really not gonna fight you on that. Man, you know what? Like I said, we're gonna revisit this one later on, because if it is Texas, Arizona State, I might flip a coin and just let the coin
Rudy,
decide.
they don't dominate the line of scrimmage like we're used to with the Longhorns on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, they don't.
And when you don't do that, and they're not like a team that's going to put up 100 points like Indiana did against Purdue. And so, I mean, they showed a lot of flaws. And this is not the time to be showing your flaws. And I still don't even know if they're going to get by Clemson. I hate to say that, but Dabo has his guys, they believe. And, they were fortunate to win their last game. But, I mean, that's what it's about. You win and you advance. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not as sold on Texas as I was a month ago.
Yeah, I really am not. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for me. Hopefully, it won't have to make it, but I'm pretty sure we are. It's going to be Texas and ASU, and I'm going to be like, great, can't really do that here. You had Tennessee against Oregon. I had Ohio State, Oregon. I don't care if it's Tennessee. I don't care if it's Ohio State. Oregon's going to win that matchup. The Ducks just look ridiculously good, man. And there's no way I can see them being beaten. I'm taking Oregon, regardless of who it is.
You're not going to get any argument from me. You already know. I think Dan Lanning is one hell of a coach. And I told you at the beginning of the season that Colorado better be happy that Oregon moved on. Because I know Dan Lanning was going to be ready to smack Deion's team all up and down the field. So right now, I still think Oregon is the best team. I don't see that loss coming in the next after the Ohio State Tennessee. I think they're going to wear each other out. And I think a fresh Oregon team wins that, whichever one they were to play against. So I'm taking Oregon.
Taking Oregon. Okay. I'm taking Oregon too. There's no doubt about that with Oregon too. Like I said, I can't see anybody beating them there.
They're fast.
I don't. They're like the Flash, man. I mean, they are
Them
really
in
fast.
Arizona State. I'm telling you. You
Yeah,
name two
quick.
teams that are left right now that are faster on both sides of the ball than Oregon and Arizona State.
It's quick. It's gonna be. It'd be cool to see Arizona State and Oregon. That would be a really cool matchup. I like that matchup right there, which could happen. I mean, technically, it could happen. Shout out to JD White again, Southern Fried Sports, man. Go check them out. Y'all be blessed. Right, Seb as always. Yeah, JD, appreciate you joining us every single time, man. Penn State and Boise State. Now, I love Boise, and Derek, I love them enough to take them over Penn State. I really do. I love Boise.
That one I would have to go with Penn State. I'm glad that they kept Boise State in the top 4, but I love Genty. I think he's going to come up short in the Heisman winning in the votes. He'll finish second, but I think Penn State has enough overall to beat Boise. And the reason I say that is because I told you earlier, if you take Genty off of that team, they're just a mediocre team. And I think Penn State has enough to expose that, and I would take Penn State to win that game.
Taking Penn State to win, yeah. I mean, I love Boise, so I think I'm sticking with Boise on that one. I just I don't know, man. I something about those that Boise State team, man. The running Ashton Genties. I'm telling you, I kind of like them right now. Here we go, Georgia. For me, Georgia, Indiana, and I think you took Indiana as well. I firmly believe that Georgia's not that good. I'm taking Indiana on this game right here. I take Indiana 100% of the time on this one.
Notre Dame and Indiana winning playing Georgia. Oh man, I hate to say this, but I'm gonna take Georgia if they were playing Indiana. I think the lights are kind of too bright this year. I love their coach, but I think they're a year away. So I would take Georgia. I think Kirby has proven who he is, and he'll have his team ready. And I would take the Bulldogs.
Taking the Bulldogs, okay. I mean, I have no qualms about that at all. I just like Indiana. I love Indiana this year. I don't know. Georgia's going to get the love. They're going to get the love. They've got a great coach, Kirby Smart. But I mean,
hey, Rudy, Ray, not to cut you off.
Yeah,
I have to kind of reevaluate and see how these next few weeks go, because we know, didn't Mr. Beck get injured?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And so I thought the backup quarterback came in and played quite well, but I think they need a Carson Beck at his best. So I have to kind of reevaluate and see how it goes the next few weeks. It didn't look good for him, and I don't even know if he'll be able to come back and play. So if he weren't able to play, I might have to take Indiana when you don't have what you used to all season, and he's been the guy that's been behind center. I think that would hurt them. At what time does it usually hurt you? Come playoff time. So we have to see what happens as far as his health. But if he's not healthy, then I'm definitely taking Indiana.
Yeah, I don't know if Beck's going to be healthy when it comes to pass. He should be. I mean,
it didn't look good. I don't know. It didn't. That kind of injury, it didn't look good. And I mean, that's going to take a while. That's a big question. It didn't look good though when he had to lead the game.
No, it didn't look good at all, and that's why I would say I'm kind of questionable about Georgia, until we get all the finals out there. Nonetheless, man, got the Final Four.
Rudy, you need him at 100%, because when he's 60%, he's not that great. First of all,
no,
so you definitely got to have him at 100%. He's almost Kirk Cousins like. Not that bad. I won't go that far. 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Why you got to bring up Kirk Cousins in his Falcon days, man? Come
on. Because I like Kirk. Kirk went to Michigan State, and I was born and raised in Michigan. But I can't remember the last time I've heard a quarterback in the last 4 weeks have 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I think that's a first for him.
Wow. It sucks he's doing it in a Falcons uniform because it's not looking very, very good. And I already texted you and everybody. It's Penix time. I need me some Michael Penix time. There's, but you're paying Kurt so much damn money. It's like you really can't.
But Rudy, how do your own family? I mean, it's hard for them to even support that. You're talking on the pro level, and Kurt's making all that money. 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Yes, it's time for a change.
It's time for a massive change, man. Massive change. Oh God. I was hoping you wouldn't bring up Kirk tonight, but we'll talk about Kirk. Not right now. Not right now. We're gonna get on through this other stuff here. Last things first, first thing last. So you basically got, possibly Georgia, Indiana, Boise. I have Boise. Then you had Penn State going. We both have Oregon. The Final Four. Just to move it on quickly until we get our picks in, we get the brackets in going and everything. Is it safe to say out of those Final Four that Oregon's probably going to be your national champion? Because for me, from what I've seen, barring injury, I would say the Oregon Ducks are probably going to be your national championships.
Would they meet? Would it be possible for them to meet Arizona State in the finals or the semifinals?
Semis. It would be Arizona State and Oregon in the semis if they meet.
So that the winner of that is my champion for the 2024 season. That's a tough one, but to me, those are the 2 best teams right now. A lot of people might disagree, and that's fair, but Oregon or Arizona State for me.
I would say so. Personally, I think it's going to be Oregon. Wouldn't shock me if Arizona State got through Oregon. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and say 100%. I agree with you. I think it's going to be either Oregon or Arizona State, whichever team comes out of that side of the bracket. And to be honest, Eric, it's whatever team comes out of that side of the bracket. That's probably the strongest part of the bracket, is that top part. So I will say that whoever comes out of the bracket from that part is your national title winner. I would put a little bit of money on that. Say a gambling man, that would probably be the national champion will come out of that side of the bracket.
Remember, I told y'all, but if you remember, I told y'all I was worried about that one off week that Oregon could have.
Yeah.
And to me, if it were to happen, it would be against Arizona State.
Could
hard year to go undefeated, man.
It's so hard to go undefeated, and man, it's so crazy, man, because you're right. It's so hard to go undefeated, but Oregon just hasn't. I haven't seen them even have a slight hiccup on the season.
That's what worries me.
Man.
That's what worries me. Then you finally get tested. That's what worries me right there.
Yeah.
Did you see that Heisman polls, though?
You think that hiccup could be Arizona State?
I don't think it'd be any other team. I think Oregon beats every other team in these brackets. The only one they give them a run, I think, would be, for me, it'll be Arizona State. Oregon, I think they're too quick for Georgia. I think they're better than Texas. I have them over all these teams. I think those are the 2 best teams in the country right now. I know a lot of people like, man, you can't say that because they're not the popular teams. But looking at my eye test, yeah, that would be their biggest game would be against Arizona State. So it depends. To me, the winner of that is going to win a national championship.
There you go. Okay, there you go. I'm not going to argue with that at all. I mean, I told you the winner's going to come out of that side of the bracket. There's no doubt about that. I will definitely say that. So we're going to do more of our college football playoff coverage here. Once, the games get started, we're going to make our final picks coming up here. The 21st is when we get the ball rolling. Actually, the 20th and the 21st when we get the ball rolling. So we're going to get our picks way in before then. So unless we're going to move on, we got a couple minutes left here. Our boy, Billy Belichick, pretty much accepted the job at UNC. We're going to cover this more throughout the week, but it's got to be a little bit concerning for me as a Tar Heel because, yeah, you can bring in the recruits, but are these recruits going to actually take you serious with that attitude? Because we know Bill's a very tough guy to play for. And if you're a 5-star recruit coming in, Bill can get you to the NFL, but can you survive Bill / Bobby Knight type of college coaching? I don't know, especially about this generation.
Did you see his interview?
I did not. I will comfortably say
how professional. One thing I will say, it brings notoriety to you immediately going to play for North Carolina now. And he talked about in the interview how it's going to be a professional setting. It's basically going to be an NFL type program from top to bottom, but on the college level. And that made me kind of say, how many guys are going to be able to deal with it. Kind of reminds me a little bit of when Deion cleaned house.
Yeah.
And some guys left on their own because they knew it was a new regime. I don't know, man, how many people can put up with it's a different environment from college and the pros. And listening to Bill talk in his interview, he does have a ticket to getting you to the NFL, but that's if you're good enough. But I mean, you have to have a certain disposition to play for Bill Belichick, and it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. There's some good and there's some bad in that situation.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of weird to see how that's going to work out. I don't think it will work out, to be honest with you. I hope it does, but I'm definitely not going to keep my fingers crossed for that. I don't see
Rudy
it at all. What's up?
He didn't sound like he's going to change. Sometimes you have to adjust to the times, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like he's going to adjust who he is for the betterment of the program. So that's going to be interesting, man. He does have an avenue to get you to the NFL. I mean, he's won 8 championships, but on the other side, ridiculing college players is not the same as when you're dealing with these guys that are getting paid millions of dollars. So, yeah, that's going to be something to keep our eye on. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. Now, before we go, man, we're going to do our caught off guard moment. We didn't get to the Philadelphia Eagles and a couple of other things, but I got to get Derek's caught off guard moment on here. So here's our caught off guard segment. That's crazy. We don't take commercial breaks right now. This shows you how good of a show this is. Shout out to our sponsors, MCS General Contracting. We'll get your commercial in here just a little bit, but shout out to them, Chris Light and the boys. They do a fantastic job. Be sure to contact them. MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Derek, they brought up a what if NFL standings if the games in one possession games if the NFL had the opposite results. You and I talk about this a lot because in the AFC, look where those Kansas City Chiefs fall. They are dead last in one possession games if it went the opposite way. That kind of shows what we've been saying, man. They've been playing with fire the entire time, the entire season. They are the best, 12 and whatever record they are right now team in the NFL, but they're the lowest when it comes to that. This is
crazy.
I brought up, and that's why I wanted to get your caught off guard moment. How do you feel about this right here? I mean, look at the Jets there, and then the Jaguars. I mean, holy cow.
Well, one of the smallest big words is if, and looking at this is funny, man, but it makes sense because a lot of these teams have been on the other side of some losses that could have changed their year. And then I'm looking at Cincinnati, 10-2. This is kind of accurate, man. If you look at it, what could happen.
Yeah.
I don't like usually doing hypotheticals, but I mean the Chiefs have been fortunate. I won't bring in the officials, but this is kind of weird. I've never even seen anything like this. What you put up here today, the what if NFL standings. But it'd be hard for me to argue because Denver could have had an 11-2 record or 10-3. Man, I like this. We got to do this more often. Very interesting. Buffalo, but this is kind of accurate if you look at it really. And the Chiefs could be take away Patrick Mahomes and his last minute heroics. They could be a team that's 2-10 and 3-9. So I like what I'm seeing, man. This is something we have to start making a regular thing. I like that.
Yeah, I was scrolling and it came up and I thought,
even my Lions, because if we don't make some of those first downs on fourth down,
yeah,
we've been fortunate somewhat with Dan Campbell, some of his decisions, and we know some of his decisions cost us last year. We dropped a couple passes as well, but yeah, we look at it. The Lions have been fortunate, so yeah, I like the what if NFL standings, man. Hell, I like that. That's big time.
Well, the one guarantee is that the Cowboys suck either in reality or fantasy. They suck either way.
4-8. Well, you got. I mean, when you got your leaders aren't really leaders, and then we know the Cowboys have been banged up all year. But when you got guys like Micah Parsons, CD Lamb, something has to change in Dallas. I don't know if I still say they should retain Mike McCarthy, to be honest with you, but if they don't, then go out and get Mike Vrabel. But you got to start getting some guys that act a little more mature than they've been acting. Kind of like that team you brought up before we pulled this up, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles? Yeah. That's crazy because, if you remember, when we did our NFL preview, we all said there's going to be a time in the season where Philadelphia is going to have some issues. Because there's too many divas in that locker room. Jalen Hurts, Brown, Devontae Smith. You're adding Saquon Barkley, who's technically not a diva-like player, but there's only one ball, and it can only get passed around to so many players. So you started to see that. A.J. Brown came out and said, basically talking about Jalen Hurts, the passing game. And here it is. We said at some point throughout the season, it's going to come out. And this diva personality is going to come out. You're starting to see it in the Philadelphia locker room. That spells doomsday for teams.
Rudy, I liked his point, but I don't like the way he did it. Not right now. That's something you could have handled in-house. You won the game. They won 9 in a row. And so it kind of makes you look selfish when you start talking about, passing when you're a wide receiver. But then on the other end, they have struggled in the passing game. And Jalen Hurts was asked about it. And I don't know if you saw that interview. He gave a one-word answer. Should this be talked about 13 weeks into the season? His answer was a flat-out no.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's some friction going on between him and A.J. Brown. Of course, one of the other players came out, and I didn't think what he did didn't make it any better either. He started talking about the personal relationship between A.J. and Jalen Hurts, how they used to be really good friends. And so now that seems to be fractured right now, and certain things that go on that should be handled in-house. And when you do it this way, that's a way of tearing up a locker room, and especially who wants to do that when you're at 9 games in a row? This just didn't make sense. So you could have the same conversation, but it needs to be in-house and not out in front of the public.
100%. That's the problem. Is I was hoping that we were wrong on that. Now it's starting to come out, man. It's going to cause even more friction. Who knows? Now, what I don't see getting reported, and we'll make this the last point. What I don't see getting reported, Derek, but I know he goes home pissed off after a game. I guarantee you, Saquon Barkley driving home is pissed because he's having an MVP caliber season. But you know what? He would already be catapulted in the MVP category with Josh Allen, probably even higher than Josh Allen, if he didn't have to give up all those 1-yard touchdown runs to Jalen Hurts. You went out and got Saquon freaking Barkley. So that tush push didn't have to be necessary. But I get why they do it because it's impossible to stop. But again, if you're Saquon and you're thinking, man, these touchdowns, these 3, 4, 5 touchdowns that I could add to my resume, what the hell's going on? You gotta feel like he's kind of seething underneath it. And if they were losing on the season, I'm pretty damn sure he would be speaking up.
So now you got the Saquon thing. 'Cause who doesn't want to win MVP? I mean, it's human nature.
It's a
And then you
bonus.
got your receiver talking after you won 9 in a row. And
Yeah.
I mean, we know their passing does have to improve. I believe Jalen had like 108 yards.
Yeah.
But when you start bringing that kind of stuff out, and then it's going to lead to questions about Nick Sirianni's control in the locker room. So now that's another issue. You have another player coming out talking publicly about the friction between Jalen and AJ. I mean, that's too much when you won 9 games in a row. And near the end of the season, as we wind down the last 4 games, these aren't things that should be talked about publicly. It's not the time, and that's what tears the team up. But I'm not too upset about it because I am a Detroit Lion guy.
Oh, I know that, and the Lions are just going to continue on. I can't wait till we talk about Lions and Bills this weekend because it's going to be fun. Didn't expect Buffalo to lose this past week, but they ended up losing to the Rams, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for Detroit coming in. Which you did say that if Detroit was to get a loss, it would be good to get that loss this weekend against Buffalo. So I kind of can understand it this weekend. A Buffalo win over Detroit makes a lot of sense for Detroit to get that loss in, before the playoffs.
Did Josh cement his MVP in a loss?
Yeah, I would say so.
6 touchdowns?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't have anybody remotely close to him right now, to be honest with you. And
not even Saquon?
Saquon is second, but without that's where it comes in. If he gets those tush push touchdowns, I mean, then that touchdown total goes up. Then it makes a better case for Saquon to say, okay. But then it comes back to this. If you take Saquon off the Eagles are still going to win some games because they've proven they can win some games without Saquon, beforehand. If you take Josh Allen off of the Bills, you're looking at, a very bad Buffalo Bills team.
So are you telling me Joe Burrow is second in the MVP voting?
Oh, man.
Well, you said take a certain player off the team.
I truly have Joe Burrow probably 3rd or 4th right now.
Take him off of Cincinnati, though.
Oh, God. I mean, terrible. I mean, they're bad.
He's still on if you look at it, he's on a record-setting pace with some of the greatest quarterbacks with the 30-something TDs or whatever it may be and the 5 or less interceptions. So if you take him off Cincinnati this year, that you're looking at a possible 2-15 team.
What is Buffalo
MVP,
though?
Well, I know. That's why I'm saying, for me, it's Allen. It's unquestionably Josh Allen. But I'm saying if you're going by importance to a team, wouldn't Joe Burrow be in the top 3?
Yeah, I won't doubt that. I won't doubt that at all. I would put him in top.
Justin Herbert in the top 5, 4 or 5.
I had him at 4 last week. I had him. Yeah. Now, Jared Goff's gone down a lot.
He's fallen. Yeah. Well, that's because of Montgomery and Gibbs, though.
Yeah, I mean, no fault to Jared, but when you've got that dynamic duo in the backfield, there's really not much you have to do. You just kind of got to get, managed again. He's not a game manager, but he just has to manage the game, and that's all it does. I mean, he can be Jared when he needs to be Jared. Let's put it that way. I mean, but when you got that kind of backfield.
So Lamar and let me say Patrick first. So Mahomes, this will be the lowest him and Lamar has finished in the MVP voting in several years. You agree with that?
Yeah, because Patrick's definitely not in top 5. I don't even know if he's top 7. Lamar, I would say Lamar. No, I don't even have Lamar in top 5. I have him at 6 right now.
I mean, Patrick 6 or 7 or 6 and 8, whatever. Yeah, they down there. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking Josh, Saquon, Herbert,
Sam
Jared
Darnold.
Goff. You could even put Darnold ahead of Jackson.
Sam Darnold. I got Sam Darnold in the top 5.
Whoo, man. Yeah. Because for me, my 5 is in no particular order: Josh Allen, Saquon, Joe Burrow, Herbert.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, you almost would have to put Darnold up there. Yeah, I would probably have to put Darnold up in there too. I mean, yeah, because there's really nobody else in there that you could probably put. I mean, yeah, I would probably put Lamar 6 and then Mahomes probably 7th. And that's Mahomes is just based off of record. That's it. I mean,
and Rudy, can we cover this next show?
Yeah.
We got Sam Darnold, who's possibly, to me, he's the top 5, right?
Yeah.
And now you got a situation.
Do you pay?
Does he even get re-signed with the Vikings? He's going to get paid. Yeah. But is it going to be by the Vikings, a team that invested in J.J. McCarthy?
So I do want to talk about that because I've got an interesting idea that I've worked on over the weekend. And I'll just say this. If Sam Darnold goes into the playoffs and takes them at least to a playoff victory, I did say that you probably need to shop J.J. McCarthy. Because Sam is only 27, I think, or 26. So he's just hitting his prime. Do you really bench a guy and let him go, not knowing what you truly have in J.J. McCarthy?
Well, either way, so the odd man out is going to be Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah, Daniel Jones. Yeah, he's definitely odd man out. He's been out for a while. He's been odd man for.
But I mean, to bring him in, I'm trying to figure out why they brought him in. I know, to me, that was a rental for this year in case Sam Darnold was to get hurt. But moving forward, if you got a healthy J.J. McCarthy, and they invested a lot to get McCarthy, that's going to be interesting, man. Because if you see stardom in J.J. McCarthy, do you let him go to another team and possibly regret it for the next 20 years?
Well, with me putting my general manager hat on, like I love to do on the show, I'm sitting JJ and say, I appreciate you. We drafted you to be our quarterback of the future. Sam is going to be re-signed. He's going to be our starter. And I'm going to have you accept the fact that you're his backup right now. He's under contract. So, I mean, it's not like if he says, well, I'm not showing up to camp. Okay, no problem. You're still under contract. So you can either not come in and not get paid, but you're not going anywhere else. And if I have to move you, I'll move you and I'll wait till somebody gives me the Brinks truck for you. I mean,
what if he outperforms Sam? If that situation were to happen and they go into training camp and he outperforms Darnold,
then it's a tough decision. But if JJ McCarthy is the better quarterback, then you tell Sam the same thing. You know what? JJ's playing better. He's our future. I appreciate what you did. You can be a backup. We can release you. We can trade you. We can do whatever. But those are the types of conversations that you have to have with the players, and hopefully they understand.
And we're having them before Stephen A. Smith and all those guys, because you already see possible trouble brewing in Minnesota.
You do. But all in all, if Darnold wins a playoff game and you're able to re-sign him, McCarthy's under contract. So it's almost like the NBA, where when you're a rookie, you come in, you sign your 4-year deal. Basically, it's 3 years option for the team for the 4th year. I mean, Pop can bring in the number 1 pick, and You know, B-Roy, he could have brought in Victor Wembanyama and said, you know what? You're going to probably be in the G League for the first year. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you're just going to have to ride the pine and learn, and that's it. It sucks, but I mean,
JJ Arch Manning McCarthy.
Oh God, yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I mean, you know what's crazy is the fact that I've kind of been having the feeling that the Manning family, and I'm gonna throw this on an entire year and a half ahead of for everybody to understand this. I already feel that the entire Manning family is positioning Arch to wear that star. I really do. I mean, everything points to Arch being a Cowboy when he's drafted. Everything in my stomach tells me that the Manning family is positioning Arch to join Jerry Jones and the Cowboys.
Yeah, I thought that in high school. So it's not just the
You
Manning family, also the Jones family. Yeah.
There's a reason why
Steven and
Jerry doesn't want to win right now. I'm all in.
Arch Manning.
But I'm not gonna do anything to show that I'm all in. I'm just all in. I'm all in on the fact that I'm waiting for Arch to come in, and then we'll revisit that. So
Do y'all hear that, people? Not Shador.
Yeah.
Not Shador and Dion. Arch Manning, Dallas Cowboy. I'm almost assured of it. I couldn't see it any other way.
Well, here's the fact. Why is he the only Manning to not go to an old SEC school? Peyton went to Tennessee. Eli was Ole Miss. Their pops was Ole Miss. Archie was Ole Miss. So you figured the bloodline, the sports bloodline, had him going to Ole Miss, to possibly Tennessee, or to an old blood SEC school. No. He went to Texas before Texas got into the SEC. He went to Texas. Well, you're in Texas for a reason. You're closer to one Jerry world. So I don't know. I mean, it's connected. Man.
Who's going to be his agent? Cooper Manning.
Cooper Manning. Probably the best Manning that nobody ever heard of. That's crazy to think that Peyton.
And I'm serious too.
Yeah,
I'm laughing. I can see. You know why? Because I think that's where we're headed today. That's the trend. If you look at Lamar Jackson and his mom.
Yeah.
Cooper Arch Manning and his dad. And I just think that's where we're headed today.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's where we're headed. And then again, we're calling this a whole year in advance. Well, you probably a year and a half in advance. Arch to the Cowboys, and we're already saying there's going to be a lot of friction if Sam Darnold wins that first playoff game. What do you do with JJ? You have to almost probably shop him. There's a couple of teams looking for a quarterback, and a young quarterback at that. You could probably get a first-round pick for JJ this year, which, I mean, nobody would be mad if you got a first-round pick for JJ McCarthy. I mean, Cleveland could give you a first-round pick. They don't have a quarterback. I mean, Jameis is great, but Jameis isn't going to be there at the end of the year. He's going to be gone. Someone's going to sign him.
Jaguar.
Yeah, Jacksonville could be another one.
Saints.
I mean, San Francisco.
Cardinals, 49ers.
Tampa Bay.
Several teams out there that could use a JJ McCarthy, a fully recovered JJ McCarthy. Several teams.
Yeah, and it's probably something that you're going to probably look at maybe happening. It just depends on what the Minnesota Vikings do. But I know one thing's for sure. What we're going to do is we talked a whole lot of you guys. We can get to a whole lot that we wanted to talk about, but we're saving that for tomorrow's show. We'll be back tomorrow at 9:00 for Derek Irvin and I. We're going to talk some more CFP, talk some NFL. I think the power rankings are going to come out tomorrow from our good friends at Pro Football Talk. So we'll share the Pro Football Talk power rankings. and see if we can figure out this JJ McCarthy thing. We'll get another night's sleep in and see if maybe the possibility of them moving on from JJ McCarthy, because it's kind of hard if you've got a top 5 MVP candidate to just say, thanks for your service, bye. He's already got a rep with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. The team loves him. The players love him. I don't think you want to upset both of those guys right now. So nonetheless, man, we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. We appreciate everybody joining us here tonight on Sweep the League. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, Chris Lehan, the boys. Be sure to contact them ASAP. If you need any work done, contact MCS General Contracting. So for Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr., until we sweep the league again, we'll see you later, knuckleheads.
Everybody have a good night.
Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting, building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Exclusive interviews with Rudy and the crew. Let's go. We build a legacy. Yeah, they know the name. STL Music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code.